Welcome to the OK Let's Learn podcast. This is two podcasts in one. One where we dive into tons of interesting books and stories, and another where we just dive into tons of interesting topics. My name is Kevin O'Keefe. So today, OK, let's learn and comment on the picture book, Diary of a Worm by Doreen Cronin, illustrated by Harry Bliss. Hey, listen, whether you're an adult or a kid, picture books are timeless, and there's classics out there, and there's certain ones that need to be read. They're still popular. They're still being published today, even in the era of tablets and YouTube and certainly so many other places that will grab the attention of kids coming up. And let me say, going forward, not only are we going to be reviewing and commenting on books and book series, but definitely here, this is one of the first picture books that we've commented on. And hey, before you listen to this, go out, buy the picture book, go to your library. It's a classic. It's written and published back in 2003, which seems like yesterday, but no, it's not. It's been out for so long. And I would argue, and I'll say this up front, I don't know this to be true, but what's the most popular book series out there for kids other than Harry Potter? Diary of a Wimpy Kid. But Diary of a Worm came out 4 years before the first Diary of a Wimpy Kid book. So we will dive into everything about this picture book. I am not reading the picture book. You got to go out and buy it, right? Have it on your shelf. Trust me, now as a grandfather, I'm collecting these classic picture books. So my daughter, Hazel, she's not even 2 yet, and she loves reading. She sits down in her little chair. She opens up these books. She goes through the pages. She stares at each one. She knows. She knows that there's an amazing world out there, and she's just starting to experience the joy of so many great books. And hey, when she goes into her room and we kind of hang out, she goes right over to her little bookshelf. She plays with her toys, of course, but she goes to that bookshelf first. So if you can inspire, if you can get the joy out of learning how to read, it really does come from these early picture books. And I'll tell you what, this one is funny. So we'll talk about Doreen Cronin, the books she's written, her life story, and certainly we'll talk about Harry Bliss. As of the recording of this episode here in July 2026, Doreen is 60 years old. She grew up in Merrick, New York and Long Island with her two brothers and her sister and her parents. And as her bio on bookreporter.com discusses, she talks about the fact that her dad was a police officer and she got a lot of her inspiration in terms of her humor from her very funny father. And she initially wanted to be a police officer or an FBI agent, but nope, that didn't happen when she realized that, yeah, this could be a little bit tougher. She ended up, and this is heartwarming, she ended up becoming an author all these years later. Why? Because her first grade teacher, Mrs. Cooper, told her that she was a writer. And it's interesting, and I say it's heartwarming, coming from being a teacher myself. Listen, you can inspire anyone to do anything. It's just about caring. But there's no question that certain kids have certain talents in different areas. But here she is all these years later, and she was inspired by her first grade teacher. As she again tells in her bio, she ended up going to Penn State for her undergraduate and then ultimately became a lawyer. She went to St. John's University School of Law. And being a lawyer, I guess it just wasn't meant to be, because in her first few years, she wrote her first book. And here's the thing about Doreen Cronin. If you teach elementary school in this country, you know her picture books. And if you haven't already Googled her, if you're just listening, well, her first successful picture book was Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type. And then, I don't know this to be true, but I just think that ultimately her second book probably was her bestseller, and that was Giggle, Giggle, Quack. We won't go into details other than just knowing it is funny. Then you had the main character being the duck for president. Ultimately, lots of books that ended up going off of that series. Then you had the Chicken Squad, a series of small chapter books. There was 6 of them, and one of my favorite ones is The Trouble with Chickens. But ultimately, I would argue these books, there's only 3 of them. It started with the one we're talking about today, Diary of a Worm, and then it was Diary of a Spider, and then Diary of a Fly. Each one of these 3 picture books were illustrated by Harry Bliss. And when you look into Harry Bliss, boy, does he have a career. In addition to all the picture books and novels that he has illustrated, he's had 25 covers on The New Yorker. Talk about the preeminent place to be a cartoonist. And yeah, he's been a staff cartoonist for them since 1997. You can find information for Doreen at DoreenCronin.com. And yes, very simply, if you want further information for Harry Bliss, it's HarryBliss.com. It's BLISS. And Cronin is CRONIN. So let's talk about Diary of a Worm. What is it about? Well, it's Diary of a Worm. Yes, a young worm's life as he goes forward in his actual diary entries. Believe it or not, he starts on March 20th. It's not every day. It seems like he's doing this weekly. And the book wraps up on August 1st. So he basically talks about the ups and downs, figuratively, literally, of his life with his family, going to school. And of course, he's got his friends, Spider and Fly. So 2 things I'll say right up front. What I find too often with picture books, I have mystery readers. I have my parents come into my class and read out loud. And some of the kids, including me, were in the back of the room. And hey, listen, you're not going to be able to see anything far away, but too often, even if you're reading the book up close, the pictures are small, the text are small, and in this case, brilliantly illustrated, funny illustrations. The drawings of this worm, it's just laugh out loud. Again, someone like my granddaughter Hazel could just turn these pages and just look at the pictures and just laugh by itself. After you read the text, you'll find lots of little Easter eggs in every page. And that's why this one deserves to be purchased and put up on the shelf, because you can go back very often. I mean, there's no question that you get a sense that this is a cartoonist. From the teacher who's got those teacher glasses with those chains hanging down. It's like the stereotypical library teacher, and she's got her grumpy face. And our main character, the worm, he's obviously a young kid, a young boy. He's got the red baseball hat. And of course, you got the sister. And what does she have on top of her worm body? She's got the yellow headband, the bow hairband. It's just really laugh out loud, cute and funny. The book is also laid out as if he's got in the beginning, especially in the beginning, I mentioned the little Easter eggs all throughout the beginning on the inside cover, and then at the end of the backside cover. It's almost kind of like deleted scenes or those extra clips at the end of a movie when the credits are rolling. But let's get into the categories now. Let's talk about the funniest moment in the book. So I'm sorry, I'm going to apologize up front. There's no pages in the picture book. So this is June 15th. It's almost like kind of smack in the middle, towards the end. And typical sibling arguments. And sure enough, what does the Boy worm say to his sister, "Hey, I don't care, you think you're so pretty. I don't care how much time you spend looking at yourself in the mirror. Your face is always going to look just like your rear end." Uh-oh. Hey, and the next page, the spider's laughing on his back, saying, how hilarious that is. And of course, the next picture's so brilliantly done. You got the mother yelling at the boy, and he's looking the other way. And of course, behind the mother, you got the girl who's laughing that, yeah, that wasn't nice, but I got you back because now mom's mad at you. Best character in the book, it's got to be the boy. The whole story revolves around him. All the jokes are supporting him, and he's the one that tells the whole story. Of course, the most underrated, best supporting character. And I'm telling you, maybe I'm just partial to it. It's the grandpa. He's just again looking at him, and this is the joy of this book. Like I said many times, Hazel could look through this book and just laugh without even being able to read anything. He's got that old grandpa hat, and he's, giving advice to the boy, and he's got his own special room. He's just funny. Most creative moments, clearly that the author had come up with, or you're thinking about, what's a life of a worm all about? Well, apparently they go to school and they have all the same classes. And what did they do in our class? They made macaroni necklaces. And not only do they make them and put them on their whole body like their swimming suits, but then certainly later on they have them for dinner. Best illustration in the entire book, the July 4th entry. Huge, 2 pictures of the president's feet. And yeah, it's as if he wants to be a Secret Service agent, and you got 2 worms with their earplugs on and their sunglasses on. And have you ever seen a picture of a worm, 2 worms, dressed up as Secret Service agents? Best line in the whole book, when he's talking about great things about being worms, he never has to take a bath. Best play on words. And the same page, family portrait of the worm, mom, dad, and the boy. And mom says, "Who's my grubby little boy?" Best hidden text. Best hidden little notes. The dentist, his name tag. What does it say? And you just don't even know this. You're just going to quickly go by it. But no, what is his name? He is Dr. D. K. K-A-Y. Dr. D.K. There you go. And let's file this category under Did You Know? Did you know that worms, when they go on vacation, they go to Compost Island? And did you know that in school, in addition to gym class and art class, well, apparently you also have tunnel and dirt class? Best emotional moment. It's just from the entry in his little scrapbook in the beginning of the book. Wonderful little illustration, and under it, it simply says, "My first tunnel." What character is not in the book that needs to be in the book? Apparently there's no grandma. Boo-hoo. Best Easter egg, and when I'm talking about Easter egg, I'm talking about a little tiny thing that's just thrown in there that you're not really supposed to notice. You just pass it by, but if you really look closely, and there's this point where things are not good about being a worm. It's all that homework, and he's got... I won't go through all of the books, but let's just say he's got a whole bunch of books that he's trying to pull on this leaf. One book is called Digging a History, and another one is called Soil Through the Ages. Just laugh out loud funny. Again, this is the charm and the appeal of this book, as I mentioned earlier. There's just so many little nuggets throughout. And now to wrap up, 2 other categories. Page or moment that could disappear. I knew it when I read it. They referenced hopscotch being a dangerous game for worms. And first they mentioned it with a little girl, and that was funny. And then they go back to it on May 8th. Now you got a chicken playing hopscotch. Definitely not needed. And finally, overall rating. It gets the top rating, 5 stars. Again, I've gone back and forth with this in terms of rating, but through the years, I'll have my students in the front book of all picture books give it a rating 1 through 5, and so many stars, 1 star, 5 stars. And I have different years, we've done it differently, but I've had students throughout the years write just a quick comment, and it's actually a good teaching moment for them to be able to succinctly put in a nice little review, what the book's message was about, why you need to pick it up, best moments, etc. But to be able to synthesize all that into a nice little compact 2 or 3 sentence review, it's really a great little tradition that I've done throughout the years in my class. So here's what I wrote. Funny, laugh out loud, illustrations great. You need to come back and read this book often. It's worth it. Friends, thanks for taking this journey, learning all about this great book, commenting all about this great book, Diary of a Worm by Doreen Cronin, illustrated by Harry Bliss. Reach out to me at kevmok21@gmail.com. We have a Facebook group. We have a YouTube channel. We are on Spotify. We are on Overcast, iHeartRadio. You name the podcast platform, we're out there. Love the reviews, love the ratings. Hit that plus button so you can subscribe to the podcast. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell anybody important in your life. Always love the referrals. Until next time, have fun and keep learning.